of some 100 million customers were accessed in the attack, which focused on some of Wall Street's largest brokerage houses. Our U.S. correspondent Simon Marks reports.
Calling the attack securities fraud on cyber steroids, federal prosecutors in New York announced charges against the 2 Israelis and 1 American. They allegedly stole lists of customers from Dow Jones, Fidelity Investments, JP Morgan and other institutions. 2 of the men are already in custody in Israel. The third is believed to be in Moscow and far from the long reach of American law. Simon Marks, Washington.
The International Olympic Committee has asked the athletics world governing body to start disciplinary proceedings against Russian athletes accused of doping in a new report. Our correspondent Lorna Shattuck reports from Moscow.
The International Olympic Committee says it has a zero-tolerance policy against doping and added that once disciplinary procedures have concluded, it will also take all necessary measures regarding withdrawing and reallocating medals from previous games. It also says it could exclude some coaches and officials from future Olympics. It did add, though, that it had no reason to question the credibility of the anti-doping tests carried out at the Winter Games in Sochi in 2014, but will retest the samples if substantial doubts arise. Lorna Shattuck, Moscow.
Climate change is a threat to the security of the United States. That's the warning from U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry during his speech at the Old Dominion University in Virginia. Mr. Kerry said that while the environmental challenge was immense, it was not insurmountable if steps are taken now.
Fueling extreme weather events, undermining our military readiness, exacerbating conflicts around the world. Climate change is a threat to the security of the United States, and indeed to the security and stability of countries everywhere.
Experts, diplomats, and elected officials are set to meet at the United Nations Conference on Climate Change starting at the end of November in Paris. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. The United Nations has warned that extrajudicial killings, torture, and detentions are on the rise in Burundi. Dan Ashby has this report from neighboring Tanzania.
The words and the warnings are getting stronger, but the killings do not stop. Today, the United Nations said that torture and murder is on the rise in Burundi. The government is accused of allowing its militia to kill civilians who voted for the opposition, and there are fears it could get worse. In Dar es Salaam, I'm Dan Ashby.
At the same time, some 11 million children are at risk from hunger, disease, and drought in East and Southern Africa due to the strengthening El Niño weather phenomenon. Our correspondent Patrice Howard reports from the United Nations headquarters in New York.
With El Niño expected to grow, UNICEF's executive director Anthony Lake called on world leaders meeting in Paris in December to agree on a deal to slow the effects of climate change. He said suffering children across Africa should serve as a wake-up call for action. Patrice Howard, New York.
A painting by the artist Amedeo Modigliani has sold for more than $170 million plus fees. William Denslow has more on this big art sale.
The combined 34 lots at Christie's auction house sold for $491.4 million. But it was the Amedeo Modigliani's Nu Couché, or Outstretched Nude Woman, that stole the show. In the art world, Modigliani's nudes are seen as some of the most coveted trophy paintings from the 20th century. And this work was snapped up by former taxi driver turned billionaire collector Liu Wei Chen. Only the 10th work of art to go for 9 figures at auction, the piece took 9 minutes to sell. Roy Lichtenstein's Nurse also sold above the estimated $80 million, with a phone buyer taking the pop art work for $95.4 million plus fees. William Denslow, New York.
And the Republican presidential candidates debated in Milwaukee. And that is the latest from Feature Story News. Priscilla Huff reporting.
Puff, puff. Share it with a friend. CannabisRadio.com.
From the Sky News Centre at 2, European Union officials have suggested David Cameron will struggle to curb benefits for migrants. The Prime Minister wants EU migrants to have to work in the UK for 4 years before being able to claim them as part of his renegotiation of Britain's membership. German Conservative MEP Marcus Ferber says those restrictions will be difficult to secure.
Free movement is a core element of European Union. And therefore we have some things to be discussed further. I think sometimes more Europe is the answer as well.
Former Prime Ministers Sir John Major and Gordon Brown have warned the government over what they call the shocking level of poverty in modern Britain. Mr Brown says tax credit cuts could plunge another million families into poverty. Sir John's given a speech warning about inequality. Our chief political correspondent John Craig has this extract from it.
The poorest among us not only live meaner lives, but shorter lives. In some of our great cities, Glasgow and Westminster among them, the lifespan of the poorest is 20 years shorter than that of the most wealthy. This is a shocking situation.
FA Chairman Greg Dyke has confirmed their lawyers are investigating whether the £20 million spent on England's failed bid for the 2018 World Cup can be returned. The suspended FIFA president Sepp Blatter has confirmed the decision to award Russia the tournament had already been made before any vote was conducted. The UK's had its top rating for energy supplies downgraded. The World Energy Council's annual index looks at how countries are ensuring secure, affordable and sustainable energy supplies. Hundreds of people have gone to the funeral of a World War II veteran after his family appealed for support because he only had a handful of relatives. The call on social media led to many complete strangers honouring Tom Bryan. And decades after losing the battle with VHS to become the videotape market leader, Sony is to stop making Betamax cassettes next year. That's the latest from the Sky News Centre. I'm Charlie Maggs.
Your connection to quality cannabis insurance services is spelled Kaercher. That's Karcher Insurance. We have worked with ventures like cannabis for over 60 years. We're proud to represent over 50 companies with tailor-made cannabis plans for owners just like you to insure your product, your plants, and your pursuits. Kaercher spells out their full-service insurance services ranging from commercial to bonds to personal, from life to health, and more. Contact the team at KarcherInsurance.com and let our experience work for you. That's Kaercher Insurance.com.
Contact Karen and the team at Karcher Insurance at 1-844-421-3560. That's 844-421-3560.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every day. Medical marijuana is my last resort, and it helps me when all other drugs have failed. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Every strain, every sale, every medical study. Keep it right here on the Cannabis Radio Network.
This is the USA Radio Business Report. I'm Russ Jones. As a reminder for Veterans Day tomorrow, Microsoft says it's now offering a tech training program for military veterans and people who plan to leave the military.
The Microsoft Software and Systems Academy, MSSA, is a 16-week program. It was designed to provide a foundation to a transitioning service member who wants to get into the IT field.
Retired Army Major General Chris Cortez, Microsoft's Military Affairs Vice President, says the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy doesn't require tech experience.
We've proved that this is a great way to give that opportunity to transitioning military members who not necessarily come from the IT field, but have sound fundamentals, have the capacity.
This is the USA Radio Business Report. I'm Russ Jones.
This is USA Radio News. I'm Chris Barnes. The 8 top polling Republican candidates for the White House, seconds from facing off in the evening's GOP primary debate in Milwaukee on Fox Business Network. Frontrunners Carson and Trump, along with candidates Rubio, Bush, Fiorina, Cruz, Kasich, and Paul. The lower polling GOP hopefuls just wrapping up the so-called undercard debate. Asked about how much Americans should be taxed, candidate Rick Santorum says,
I propose a 20% flat tax, 20% on corporations, 20% on individuals.
Mike Huckabee proposing a consumption tax only and the elimination of the IRS.
We get rid of the IRS. We completely eliminate them. Because the government has no business knowing how much money we make and how we made it. It's none of their business.
Also among second-tier hopefuls, Chris Christie and Rick Santorum. The primetime event starting now on the Fox Business Network. This is USA Radio News.
This holiday, there are a few things I can count on. My daughter will ask for a pony, again.
Please, 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 please.
Grandpa will tell one of his colorful stories at dinner.
And that's why I don't have a spleen.
And thanks to the Postal Service, my holiday shipping will be stress-free.
Make holiday shipping easy with free box delivery, free tracking, and free package pickup from the U.S. Postal Service. This is our season. Priority you. Free tracking and free box delivery available for select products. For details on free package pickup, visit USPS.com/pickup.
Get your Plenty card at Exxon or Mobil and start earning points at lots of places.
So I get points for filling up at Exxon?
You sure do.
What about getting coffee at Mobil?
Points.
Streaming TV shows on Hulu?
Definitely.
Points on my AT&T wireless bill?
Yep.
Buying soap?
At Rite Aid.
Buying you a birthday present?
Points at Macy's.
Visiting your parents?
No. You get marriage points.
Oh.
Exxon and Mobil are the only fuel brands that are part of Plenty, the rewards program that lets you earn points at one place and use them at another. Join Plenty for free through a participating Exxon or Mobil station today. Terms and limitations apply. See plenty.com/partners for details.
The Republican presidential candidates at the debate this evening are being greeted by protesters calling for a $15 minimum wage. Demonstrations for the Fight for 15 movement taking place in over 200 cities earlier today, but the biggest planned for tonight in Milwaukee, where the debate's being held. President Obama expected to sign a revised defense bill that blocks him from transferring Guantanamo Bay terror detainees to the United States. White House spokesman Josh Earnest telling a briefing, despite that bill,
it shouldn't affect our ability to continue to transfer those individuals that have been approved for transfer.
Earnest saying there's still hope to build bipartisan support to close Gitmo by the time the president leaves office in 2017. Also, the latest ruling against the president's executive actions on immigration being appealed by the White House. That after yesterday, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld an injunction to Obama's order to block deportation for millions of illegal immigrants. This is USA Radio News.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-479-2697. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-479-2697.
Major League Baseball investigating reports of domestic violence by a four-time All-Star. Colorado Rockies shortstop Jose Reyes arrested in Maui after allegedly grabbing his wife by the throat and pushing her into a sliding glass door back on Halloween. It's the first such case since the MLB adopted a new domestic violence policy in August, so it's going to be a test. Testimony starts in the trial of a South Florida man accused of killing his wife and posting a photo of her dead body online.
He took a picture of her bent backwards from being on her knees, cowering in the corner of the kitchen while he was shooting her. And he posted it on Facebook.
Prosecutor Leah Klein dismissing defendant Derek Medina's claim that he was a victim in an abusive relationship. Medina could get life in prison if found guilty of killing Jennifer Alfonso. A drug used to treat Parkinson's may also prevent the most common cause of blindness in older people. Professor Brian McKay with the University of Arizona saying L-Dopa, which does help Parkinson's patients control muscle tremors, may also prevent macular degeneration.
The leading cause of blindness in the United States, it is a slow degenerative process where the photoreceptors, the cells that actually detect the light, die off.
Professor McKay explains that a special receptor in certain eye cells binds to L-Dopa, thus protecting those cells from that type of breakdown. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Your connection to quality cannabis insurance services is spelled K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R. That's Karcher Insurance. We have worked with ventures like cannabis for over 60 years. We're proud to represent over 50 companies with tailor-made cannabis plans for owners just like you to insure your product, your plants, and your pursuits. K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R spells out their full-service insurance services ranging from commercial to bonds, to personal, from life to health, and more. Contact the team at KarcherInsurance.com and let our experience work for you. That's K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R Insurance.com.
Contact Karen and the team at Karcher Insurance at 1-844-421-3560. That's 844-421-3560.
growing green to generate more green.
Hello to all you happy herbalizers, smiling trippy hippies, and everyone who believes in freedom and tolerance. This is The Grow Show, and I'm Kyle Cushman.
From food to fuel, from remedy to resource.
Welcome my guest, Ed Rosenthal, the guru of ganja. Let me ask you, right now I hear your lighter clicking. Are you smoking indoor or are you smoking sun-grown?
What am I smoking? I'm smoking concentrate.